Welcome to Pop History. This episode looks at the story behind some of the popular events from February 1981. Here we go. On February 1st, the National Football League's 31st Pro Bowl game was played at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. This game marked the first time that an NFL game was played in February. In this contest, the NFC All-Stars beat the AFC 21-7. Eddie Murray, the rookie place kicker for the Detroit Lions, was named the game's most valuable player. The winners took home a prize of $5,000 each, while each player on the losing team received $2,500. On February 2nd, regular play during the Bing Crosby National Pro-Am Golf Tournament ended in a five-way tie between Hale Irwin, Ben Crenshaw, Bobby Clampett, John Cook, and Barney Thompson, each shooting 7 under par. This was the first time in PGA history that there was a five-way tie at the end of the scheduled rounds of golf. The 23-year-old Cook won the third extra hole, taking home the $40,000 prize, more than his total earnings for the previous year. Also on February 2nd, the American new wave band Talking Heads released their single for the song Once in a Lifetime. The song was the lead single from their fourth studio album, Remain in Light, which had been released 4 months earlier. The song was not a favorite of the band and was almost discarded from their album. It was not a hit on release and did not attain immediate popularity. Though it came close, it did not make it onto the Hot 100 chart. However, over time, Once in a Lifetime has received acclaim, being named as one of the 500 songs that shaped rock and roll by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was even performed by Kermit the Frog, who mimicked the music video in 1996 on the show Muppets Tonight. On February 6th, American crime drama film Fort Apache, The Bronx was released. The film featured Paul Newman, who portrayed a veteran cop working in a high-crime area in the Bronx, New York. Upon its release, the movie faced protests in the U.S., especially from the African American and Hispanic communities, who objected to the film's stereotyping of minorities as drug dealers and criminals. Though reviews were mixed, the film grossed over $4.5 million during its opening weekend, eventually taking in over $65 million worldwide. The film also helped to inspire the American police drama series Hill Street Blues. On February 13th, beginning just after 5 a.m., streets began to erupt as explosions ripped through the historic section of Louisville, Kentucky, near the University of Louisville. Hexane gas that had been illegally discharged into the city's sewer system from a nearby soybean processing plant was ignited by the spark from a car, resulting in explosions that demolished nearly 15 miles of sewer line throughout the southern part of the city. Fortunately, there were no fatalities. The explosions resulted in extensive damage throughout the city, and nearly 2,000 people had to be evacuated. Some residents were left without gas for heat or cooking until the lines could be repaired and tested, and water and sewer service was disrupted for many. Heavy rains caused additional damage and flooding. Ralston Purina, the owner of the plant, paid several $1 million in damages to help rebuild the city. On February 15th, Richard Petty, driving the number 43 Buick, wins a record 7th title at the 23rd running of the Daytona 500. Bobby Allison was actually the favorite to win, driving a 1980 Pontiac Le Mans that had increased aerodynamics because of a fastback sloped rear window. For most of the race, Petty ran in the middle of the pack, but he kept himself within striking distance. When Allison ran out of fuel during the race's final laps, he had to coast into a pit stop, allowing Petty to take the lead for the first time. For his final pit stop, Petty asked for fuel only, rejecting new tires, allowing him to leave the pit quickly, remaining in the lead. Though Allison did manage to catch up, Petty beat Allison to the checkered flag, crossing the finish line a mere 3.5 seconds ahead of the favorite. On February 18th, a 20-year-old Edmonton Oilers center, Wayne Gretzky, became the youngest player in the NHL to score 5 career hat tricks. In that night's home game against the St. Louis Blues, Gretzky scored 5 goals and had 2 assists. The Oilers won the contest 9-2. On February 19th, George Harrison was ordered to pay $587,000 for subconscious plagiarism of the song He's So Fine, written by Ronnie Mack and sung by the Chiffons. 5 years earlier, the court had found that Harrison had copied the music for his song My Sweet Lord. The fine was actually 1/3 of the amount that had been asked for in damages, and it was equal to the amount that He's So Fine had been sold for. In addition to the reduced amount, Harrison was granted rights to Mack's song. On February 21st, Charles Rocket, the host of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update, dropped the F-bomb on live TV. The incident occurred as the show was closing, after Rocket had appeared in a Dallas-themed sketch in which he played character CR, a parody of J.R. Ewing. Just before the final credits, Rocket, still in character, sat in a wheelchair surrounded by the rest of the cast. As guest host Charlene Tilton asked how he felt, Rocket, as CR, replied, "It's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who the F did it." Rocket was fired 2 weeks later, shortly after the show's next episode. On February 26, the record for penalty minutes was set during a National Hockey League game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota North Stars. A fight between the teams broke out just seconds into the game, with Stars coach Glenn Sonmore even fighting a Bruins fan. A total of 12 players were ejected and 406 minutes were assessed. The Bruins eventually won the contest 5-1. This record stood for 23 years until 2004, with 419 minutes being assessed during a game between the Philadelphia Flyers and Ottawa Senators. That wraps up our look at pop history from February 1981. Keep an eye out for our next episode coming soon. For now, as always, thank you for watching and joining us in this stroll through our memories from 1981.